valve has a tube connected. If you look to the tubes, now there's the long one. They're all different lengths. The longest one is attached to your third valve. The shortest one is attached to your middle valve, and the medium one is attached to your first valve. Now the valves work, and French horns work a little differently than that, but they're like a piece of cheese. They got holes in the valves, right? Well, what happens is, when the valve is up like this, the air goes through these two holes, the top one and the bottom one. When the valve gets pushed down, the air goes through the middle one. And what it does is to redirect the air into the tube that is connected to the valve. Well, what does that do? It makes the length of tubing longer. The length of tubing that you use when you push this valve in is this much longer. When you don't push the valve in, the air is not going through this tube. It just bypasses it, so the tube's just sitting there. When you push the second valve, now the length of tubing used is this much longer. And when you push the third valve, it's this much longer. When you don't push the valves, it's called open horn. That means the air goes through the lead pipe and it shoots through the holes in the valves, but does not go through any one of the three tubes, and it goes out the valve. That's called open horn. That's actually the shortest tube on your instrument. No valves depressed. And it's the same for every instrument, okay? What's the shortest tubing on your trombone? You got it? First position. First position is open horn. It's the shortest tube. What's the next longest tube on your horn? Second position. It's really tricky. Guess what matches second position on a trombone? The shortest tube on your horn. Second valve by itself. What's the next longest position on trombone? Third. Do you notice how tricky it is? It's like 1, 2, 3. What's the next longest tubing on your horn? The first valve by itself. Okay. What's the next longest tube? 4. What's the next longest tube on a 3-valve instrument? Yeah. 1 and 2. So now you're adding this tube and this tube together. Okay. What's the next longest tube? 5. 2 and 3. What's the next longest tube? 6. 1 and 3. Sorry, I'll do it this way. 1 and 3. So you're adding the first slide and this long one in the back. And what's the last one? 7th. Wait a minute, you said there was 8 tubes. What's wrong? Anybody know? Yep.
There's like, were we counting the open one?
We were counting the open one. It was open horn, remember?
Yeah.
Same as first. Yep. Exactly. Wait, did you notice in the combinations I went open, 2, 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3. We didn't do the 7th. 1, 2 and 3. There's one missing there, and it's third by itself. Now the interesting thing about the third valve is that the length of the third valve by itself, this tube, is the same length as these two added together. So if I play the notes on 1 and 2, they're the same as 3 by itself. So there are 8 lengths of tube on a 3-valve instrument, but this one and this one are the same. Now that was a very quick condensed version of physics of a horn, just so that when I put this on the board, you will understand what I'm talking about. 7 tube lengths. Can I write on your board?
Absolutely.
Trombones have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why they put all the smart kids on trombone, because the math is so nasty. And on a 3-valve instrument, the shortest length of tubing is open, the next is 2, the next is 1 and 2, the next is 2 and 3, 5 is 1 and 3. No, I'm missing 1. Where did I go wrong? Oh, I did. Way back here, so bad. I forgot 1. How rude. 1 and then 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3. 8. There's your 7 tube lengths. If you want, I'll put 8 down and 3 and put them in brackets. Redundant. From the Department of Redundancy. It's not redundant though. You do actually use 3 sometimes. There are times, especially trumpet players, where you have really fast passages, and maybe 1 and 2 is really awkward, but to push down 3 will work. So if you have a 1 and 2 valve combination note, you can substitute 3 for that if you need to. Why am I telling you all of this? It's a lip slur thing. Every day of your life that you eat food, you should do lip slurs. And you should use the 7 tube links to do them. You start on the lowest note of open horn, and you do a 1-note lip slur. Nice and long and slow, centered pitch, good sound. Then you go to 2. Third position, which is on a 3-valve instrument, first valve. 1 and 2. 2 and 3. And you're done. That was 25 pounds. You do 3 reps every day at 25 pounds, 2 weeks. Then you take it up to 50 pounds. 3-note lip slur. That's your 50 pounds. Take you up a little higher. 7 tubes. I'm doing the fast version, but you would do it nice and slow, concentrating on a good buzz and a good breath. And so on, all the way down to 1, 2, and 3. Do 3 reps every day, 2 weeks, take it up to 75 pounds. That's a 4-note lip slur. So now you're taking it up into the upper register. And you do that, 7 tubes. 2 weeks, 3 reps. But by the way, you also have to go back and do the 3-note lip slur and the 2-note lip slur. Do them every day. Start on the 2-note, which only takes you up a little bit. Then go to the 3-note, takes you a little farther. Then go to the 4-note, takes you a little farther. Now, you're like, oh my God, why did Mrs. Peters get this boring old poop out here and share this stuff? Because I'm never going to do this. I hate this. It's boring. And it is. Just like lifting weights is boring. But I guarantee you that if you do lip slurs every day that you eat, just the days that you eat, every day that you eat, you do a lip slur. Any of those high notes you're having trouble with, give it a month, you won't be trouble at all.